Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Glory and I recently just graduated from university from the Bartlett School of Architecture at UCL. And today's video is a little bit different. I thought it'd be really nice to just sit down with you and me, have a cup of tea, a cup of imaginary tea. No tea to be spilled, but it's just a nice to kind of have like a heart-to-heart conversation. And I really love having these type of like deep conversations because I think it's nice to reflect on and what we want to grow. Anyways, the topic of today's video is 10 life lessons that I've learned at university. I just think it's always really nice to reflect on the times that we had in the past and how that helps us to be a better person in the future, because without fully analyzing it, how can we utilize lessons we learned in the past to be a better version of ourselves? So anyways, enough talking, let's get straight into the lessons. Number 1, life is not just about school and grades. So easier said than done, of course. It's really easy for me to say that once I've graduated, especially also someone who graduated from, conventionally speaking, like good grades and good prizes that I've won and all that. And in general, I think just also speaking from someone who used to have good grades and I used being smart as my personality. But truly after going through university and all that, even now in the workplace, it's really easy to just reduce your life to a set of grades or your CV. But ultimately, it really is about the experiences that you've had in life, the people you meet, and also the relationships you had that really makes life worth living. Number 2, not to take anything my parents gave me for granted. So when we were younger as kids, we always complain to our parents when they don't provide us with something we want or if we have the slightest bit of discomfort. But after going to university and now that I'm working, you realize there's so much stuff in life that you have to juggle, like cooking, cleaning up after yourself, laundry, buying things, buying groceries, which most of us just took them for granted when we were younger. Now that we go to university, we have to do all of these things for ourselves. And we realize just how much of a luxury it was to have our parents doing that for us at home. Obviously, not all of it. I help my parents with stuff, but you don't really realize how this is really a luxury for people, and also just having parents that care for you in general. Number 3, and this is a big one, which is no one cares. This sounds really harsh, but in a way it's both depressing and also really comforting. I learned this in my first year of university, I would say the first week or even the second week, when I was getting used to this whole new city of London. And the first week was freshers week. So it was kind of the norm to meet all these new people in your accommodation and in your department, make friends and go clubbing and all that. And I thought to myself, if I didn't follow this norm or expectation, I'm gonna be such a loser. Although in the end I realized you're only a loser if you think you are a loser, because no one has the time and energy to come up to you and tell you you're a loser just because you didn't want to join a big group and go clubbing, because everyone's so focused on thinking about themselves that they don't want to be seen as a loser. So no one actually cares if they think you're a loser, because there's no time and mental space for people to think that. So having this realization, I realized that I can basically do whatever I want without judgment because no one cares anyways. Everyone's too busy caring about themselves. For example, you can just do what you want in your free time, wear what you want, eat what you want. No one cares. Just all that matters is what you think about yourself, because no one cares. Number 4, food will either become a great time or a headache. So if you don't live in a catered accommodation in the UK, you're basically responsible for all the meals you're going to eat. Since you're technically an adult now, I need to stress the importance of what you eat, because our energy and health comes from what we eat. I see too many people just eating whatever junk food they can get their hands on, or they're just not eating enough at all. I get that, because this is the time you go to university, so you can kind of like eat whatever you want. So some people just go on this like binging junk food spree, or they're so immersed in their work and because no one's cooking for them anymore, so they just don't eat at all, and they glorify this practice of not eating. So of course, I can't tell people what to do or what not to do, but the message that I just want to give in general is to take care of your body and really take this time to learn to take care of your health, because health is wealth, and if we don't have health, we don't have anything. And I think it's just really good to start building these good, healthy habits during your time in university, and you can just bring these to when you start working, and then, you start being a healthy individual. Number 5, balance is key. So this sounds really cliche as well, but honestly, everything in life is about balance. You can't have too much of a quote bad thing, like stress, but you also can't have too much of a quote good thing, like too much relaxation, for example. University, I feel like it's just all about figuring out the balance and what works for you in your life and figuring out where a balance lies. For example, junk food and quote healthy food balance, partying late and sleeping early, relaxation and productivity. So in a way, it's just about figuring out what your balance is and what works for you. Number 6, be comfortable with the uncomfortable. So one thing I had to challenge myself in university is constantly stepping out of my comfort zone. I suppose this is also a little bit cliche, but there was this diagram that I remember that I saw in a book, and it is that when you step outside of your comfort zone, that's where the magic happens. If you stay inside, you stay comfortable, but you don't grow. If you push yourself too far though, you get paralyzed and you cannot act in a way that helps you grow. So find that sweet spot. Again, finding your balance. Number 7, use this time to try something new. So I guess this kind of relates to being comfortable with the uncomfortable, but use the environment that you're in. So in this case, that would be university to develop yourself. Sign up to events, volunteers, talks, talk to new people, get to know your classmates and tutors, and just learn more. I signed up for activities and interviewed my tutors for my podcast, and it was just really great to learn more about them and just have really meaningful conversations that I would otherwise not have if I haven't reached out to them. So however, back to the balance point, don't oversubscribe yourself as well and crowd your plate so much that you can't function and do your daily tasks, because a lot of my friends also did this thing where they just sign up to too many activities and they just end up being too stressed. Number 8, time management is everything. So I never really realized the importance of time management before I went to university, because in secondary school or high school, a timetable is already like laid out for you. You don't really have to think about it, and usually the tasks that you have to do are due tomorrow or a few days later down the week. A few days later when you have that subject lesson again. However, in university, everything is up to you to decide. Your entire day schedule is up to you, apart from certain lessons you have here and there. You have to learn to delegate your time to different tasks that you have to do accordingly, so you manage to finish your work, so you don't overwork yourself with no time to have any fun, but also not in a way that you're having too much free time to have fun that you don't end up doing anything. Learn to stay organized and manage your time well, so you're not scrambling the last minute to complete your tasks that is due tomorrow and it's too late, then you end up pulling an all-nighter to complete your tasks. I have a time management video that you can check out here if you like. I also made a video on how I use my planner and journal to help manage my time, which you can also check out here. Number 9, it's okay to be alone. So there's a difference between being lonely and being alone. At this point, I think I've reached an age and mindset where I can be alone perfectly fine without feeling lonely. In fact, I really enjoy the solitude. In high school, if you were alone, I think the general consensus was that you were a loser and you had no friends. But since going to university, back to point number 3, because no one cares. So honestly, it's perfectly fine to be alone. In fact, in the book Digital Minimalism, the author argues it's actually really important for someone to have solitude to themselves in order to reflect on ourselves and to have inner dialogue with ourselves, to understand ourselves more as a person, how we operate, what our values are, what our dreams are, and how we want to move forward in general. I actually really love spending time alone by myself and just reflecting on myself, journaling to get my thoughts out loud, and get to know myself on a deeper level. You can argue this as doing the inner work, which I think we all need to do to be in tune with ourselves. There was this quote that I remember about how those who don't like to spend time with themselves alone are actually people who have not made peace with themselves yet and really don't want to face their inner demons. That's why it's so important to spend time by ourselves and enjoy solitude. Number 10, be intentional with who you spend time with and build your network. So during my time at university, I realized the most important resource we have is time. Time is finite and we cannot make more of it. Therefore, I just became super intentional with the people I hung out with. If the people I hang out with makes me feel deprived of energy afterwards, or if I generally do not enjoy the conversations that we are having because it doesn't bring me much value, then I'll probably just start to spend less time with them. Although this is not to say that they're not good people, it just means that your values don't fully align with them and that you're on separate paths. And that's perfectly fine as well. Hang out with people who genuinely acknowledge you as a whole person and support you for things you want to do. And also hang out with people that there is something that you admire about them and something you want to learn from them as a person. But it is also important to build your network at university, to meet new people where you can see how diverse the world is and how many different people, different types of people there are out there in the world, which can be quite difficult for introverts. So I fully understand your pain. Finding that balance to step out of your comfort zone though, but also make sure you have time to recharge, because I identify as an introvert, so I understand how difficult it can be. But then again, How would you meet your close friends if you never made the first step? All of your close friends now, how did you meet them if you never had a conversation with them in the first place when you did not know them? Lastly, an extra tip, tip 11. It's okay to ask for help. This is something that I actually struggled a lot because of my mental health problems. I did not like asking for help at all because it just always felt like I was burdening other people or making excuses for why I could not complete a certain task by myself. But then I realized asking for help can actually create really strong bonds between people and also help foster relationships. Also, one way to think about it is, do you get annoyed when other people ask you for help? Usually the answer is no, unless, depending on the context obviously, unless that person always asks you for help and never give anything back. So try to put yourself in another person's shoes and see if they would think all the horrible things you tell yourself when you ask for help. If you're not gonna think those things, then do ask for help. Also, it's just not possible for one person to know everything, so we all need to help out each other more. So those were all the life lessons that I learned from going to university. Obviously, it's really surface level to just say like a bunch of tips like that. And obviously it comes from a lot of like experiences and painful stories and a lot of personal experiences that happened while I was at university, especially during when I was going through a really tough time in second year when I was dealing with my mental health issues and also just going through COVID. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. So I hope that those life lessons were helpful. Even if you resonate with one of them, I'm already really happy about that. So let me know if you have any similar stories that relates to these life lessons that happened when you were at school, and share them down in the comments below. And I'm always really interested to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you so much for watching this video and listening to what I have to say. And I love talking about these things because it's really like having a conversation with people about these really deep things that normally you don't get to talk about because a lot of times you're just engaging in small talk, in small conversations. So I hope this was really nice. It's really nice for me to talk to all of you. And thank you so much for stopping by. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!